Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of Data Structures and Algorithms, CS211. My name is Dr. Zishan Iqbal, Assistant Professor, Institute of Computing. Today is lecture number 20, in which we will talk about queue and its separation. Previously, we have discussed insertion operation in queue. So today our focus mainly will be on deletion process in queue. In the previous lecture of queue, we have discussed about how the insertion is performed in the queue. Today we will talk about deletion mechanism in queue. So objective of the lecture includes to understand the abstract data type queue mechanism and to be able to implement the abstract data type queue deletion or dequeuing mechanism. In deletion of a queue, the value of front will be increased every time. After deleting an element, the value of front will be increased from -1 to 0 as shown in the diagram. However, the queue will look something like the following. As we can see that front is increased to 1 while the rear remains same as 5. Algorithm to delete an element from a queue. First of all, we have to check if the value of front is -1, indicate that there is no value in the queue. Our value of front is greater than rear. Similar, we have to write an underflow message and exits. Otherwise, we have to keep increasing the value of front and return the item stored at the front end of the queue at each time. Here we can see the pseudocode of the algorithm for deletion process. In step 1, we have to check if front is equal to -1 or front is greater than rear. It indicates an underflow condition, so we have to write underflow and move to step 2. In else case, we have to return the value of front to calling function and increase the front position by 1 by setting front is equal to front plus 1. This is the C function for deletion function. Here we can see that first if condition indicates if front is equal to -1 or front is greater than rear, then we have to print the underflow condition, else we have to return the front value to y variable. Next, we have to check if we are deleting the last element, so we have to check front is equal to rear. If it returns true, then we have to assign the front and rear -1, else we have to keep on increasing front is equal to front plus 1. In the end, we have to return the y value which was assigned the queue of front value to the calling function. Now let's simulate the deletion algorithm. In the example that I am showing here, let's delete a dequeue integer and show you the simulation process. Initially, we can see that the queue is empty. So if we want to delete the element from a queue, it's impossible. Algorithm will start from step 1 by checking the if condition of if front is equal to -1 or front value is greater than rear, which will be true as in empty queue front and rear both have -1 value. So we have to write the underflow and we'll move to step 2 by printing the underflow message to the user, and the control will be exiting or moving back to the calling function. Now in this example that I am showing here, queue has 4 integers where the front value is 0 and the rear value is 3. Let's delete a dequeue1 integer and show you the simulation of the algorithm. In step 1, algorithm will start by checking the if condition of if front is equal to -1 or front is greater than or rear, which will be false as front value is 1 and the front value is not greater than rear 2. So the control will move to else statement, where we will set or store the queue front index value to a temporary variable called val. As discussed in previous classes, that it will serve as the recycle bin for any kind of error deletion. In the next statement, we simply have to increment the rear value by 1, as we will do it always in deletion cases. So front value will become 1 from 0 and the new array will be shown as follows. Now consider this array where front value is 1 and rear value is 3. Here we can see that we have 3 elements in the queue, and if we want to delete it again, we have to just first of all check the underflow condition. Means if front and rear value is -1, so the queue is empty. We cannot delete any element from the queue. In that case, we have to simply write that underflow exists, and we have to move to step 2 by exiting the deletion algorithm. Suppose here we can see that the front value is -1 and rear value is 3. So underflow does not exist. So we will move to else portion, where the front value will be assigned to a temporary variable called val, and the 2 will be assigned to temporary variable val. Next, we have to just increment the front value by 1. So the front value will be deleted and the front value will become to position number 2 by incrementing the front 1 plus 1 2. Here we can see that front value is now points to position number 2. Again, if we want to do it again the underflow condition will be checked. Again the underflow will be false, so we will move to else position and the 8 will be assigned to a temporary variable known as val. Again in that case we have again to increment the front value by 1, so the front will move from position number 2 to position number 3. So the front value will be 3 and there will be only one value left as 9 value, and rear will be the same as 3. In that case front and rear value both will be 2 3. Last, if you want to delete it again we have to check the underflow condition. Underflow does not exist here again, so we have to assign the 9 value to a temporary variable val again, and we have to increment the front value to 4. Here we can see that we have deleted all the values by incrementing the front value. Now if we perform the deletion process again, we have to check again the underflow condition by front and rear position 2 minus 1, which will be false, but front value is greater than rear. This implies also that front underflow exists, and the algorithm will move to the exit position, so we cannot delete further any element from the queue. The motto of this operation is to see what is the element at the front of the queue. In stack, this was known as top value. We will see what the value is there at the front of the queue without removing it. This function helps to see the data at the front of the queue. The algorithm peek function is as follows. By beginning procedure, we have to write beginning procedure peek, and we have to return the queue front value by ending the procedure. Implementation of peek function in C programming is integer peek, and we have to return queue of front value to the calling statement. Here is a C program for display operation in queue. First of all, we have to check if the queue is empty. In that case, obviously there is nothing in the queue. We will use for loop for display function. We have to print the first value initially. For this purpose, we have already taken I variable in the start of display function, and in for loop we will initialize it with the front index value. In the loop we have to print the data till rear, so I will be assigned in for loop till rear by assigning I is less than or equal to rear. And inside the loop we will print the data using printf, and we will write printf percentage of d q of I. Another operation for the q is full. As we are using single dimensional array to implement q, we just have to check the rear pointer to reach at max size to determine that the queue is full. Here is an algorithm written for the isQ procedure. If the rear equals to maximum size, we have to return true as the array is our queue is full. In else case, we have to return the false. Simple, this function is written as Boolean function. Here is the C function for this is full function, where we have to specify the type of function to Boolean, and if rear is equal to max size minus 1, we have to return the true value, else in we have to return the false value. isEmpty function returns the value of q to true or false. In case the q is empty, the value will be true, and if the q is not empty, the return value will be false. If the front value is less than minimum or 0, it tells the queue is not yet initialized, hence empty. Here is the algorithm written for the isEmpty function. We will start by if condition. If front is less than minus or front is greater than rear, return true. In else case, we have to return the false by ending the isEmpty procedure. The C program for the isEmpty function is written as if front is less than 0 or front is greater than 0, return true. In else case, we have to return false. Although the technique of creating queue using array is quite easy, but there are some drawbacks of using this technique to implement a queue. Number one is memory wastage. The space of the array which is used to store queue elements can never be used again to store the elements of the queue, because the elements can only be inserted at front, and the value of front might be so high that all the space before that can never be filled. The above figure shows how the memory space is wasted in the array representation of the queue. In the figure, a queue of size 10 having 3 elements is shown. The value of front variable is 5. Therefore, we cannot reinsert the value in the place of already deleted elements before the position of front. That much of space is wasted and can never be used in the future. Another drawback of array implementation is deciding the array size. One of the most common problems with the array implementation is the size of the array, which requires to be declared in advance. Due to the fact that the queue can be extended at runtime depending upon the problem, the extension in the array size is a time-taking process and almost impossible to be performed at runtime, since a lot of reallocation will take place. Due to this reason, we can declare the array large enough so that we can store queue elements as enough as possible. But the main problem with this declaration is that the most of the array slots can never be reused again. It will again lead to memory wastage. In the end, I want to thank you all. you can ask any question on the KCMS platform directly.